I'm back with another mega physical media ranking video for you all. Today I'm talking my top 5 Criterion titles that I probably won't rewatch again for one reason or another. They're kind of a one and done for me. And also top 5 titles that are rewatches that I can just plug in anytime and just have a great old time, very easily digestible. But before we get into that, of course, you love collecting physical media just like me, talking Criterions and other boutique labels. Go ahead and mega smash that like and subscribe. That way you stay entertained and up to date on all the latest physical media topics. And leave in the comments below what would be your personal choices for Criterions you never want to watch again and Criterions you always want to rewatch again. But let's get into this. So starting with the ones that are one and done for me, and this one's going to surprise a lot of people. Once again, these are all my personal opinions, so don't get too wild out there on me, okay? But first up, we're going to have The Graduate. Once again, I really like this movie. It's very solid. I'm happy I watched it the one time. But is it one that I always want to go back to? No, I haven't had the urge to rewatch this one at all. Yes, you got Dustin Hoffman in it, who's an amazing actor, and he gives a great performance as always. You know, you got Mrs. Robinson in here, and it's pretty much a kind of weird affair, a coming of age story, and all that wildness to it. And I do love coming of age movies, but there's just something about the romance here that's just icky. It just doesn't feel like, ooh, I really want to watch this one again. It's a very dramatic tale, and just even though there are some iconic moments and scenes like when he's banging on the glass, I do like how it's filmed and all of that. I just don't feel like I need to see this story again. I get it. I saw the story. I'm good to go. One and done. No more fun for me. Peace out, The Graduate. So that's just how it goes sometimes, even though, like I said, quite solid of a movie. All right, next up, one that I do really like, and I think everybody should watch at least once. You got to have Malcolm X, a beautiful box here. I love what Criterion did with this one, and all the special features they pack in are wonderful. You got Denzel Washington, who plays Malcolm X at different parts of his life, so you really get to see the full scope of this human through this character's eyes. It's just excellent. I just love how it plays, but because they're really covering everything in Malcolm X's life, or I shouldn't say everything, but a lot of it. It's a very long movie. It's over 3 hours. I think it's like 3 hours 30, or it gets kind of close to the 4 hour marker. But oh my gosh, that's not a movie runtime I want to rewatch again. I just don't want to plan a whole nother day around it. Just takes up so much time. So even though it's a really good story, it's great to learn about this actual person and the impact he had and all of that. Like I said, it's a good quality movie, really well filmed, really well acted. There's not really a major flaw in the movie besides that dang runtime that just makes me not want to rewatch it again. It does have its slow moments. It's not moving super fast, so it does feel like a really long runtime, right? Yeah, so it's just one of those movies where I'm like, I saw it, I enjoyed it, I got what I needed to get out of it, but do I really want to go back and rewatch it again? I just haven't had that urge to plug it into the player again, and because of that, I had to put it on this list. So even though, like I said, you should really check it out if you're a massive fan, Criterion did a wonderful job with this one. All right, next up, we got to have Raging Bull. I know I'm going to hear it about it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to hear in the comments now from those Martin Scorsese fans out there. But I'm a Scorsese fan myself. A very solid title, but it's just so dark and horrific of a story. You're watching pretty much this downward spiral of this character to where it just goes to so many dark places. And it's fine to watch it one time, but it's not one I'm like, you know what? I need a pick me up story. Let's go rewatch this one. No, if I want an inspirational boxing sports story, I go with the Rocky movies because they're kind of a little bit more upbeat, usually more of a happy ending. This one, very tragic, very dramatic, very just leaves you with sadness and maybe some tears. And you're just like, oh gosh, why did this character end up doing all these different actions that got him to this place by the end of it? So even though it's a well filmed movie, I enjoy it as a boxing fan. I just don't feel it's like a character story I need to see multiple times just because it's not really a pick me up inspirational one. So even though Martin Scorsese did a wonderful job here, these are all good solid movies so far. All movies I think you should watch at least once. Once again, it's a one and done. I just haven't felt the need to go back and rewatch this one. Whereas with the Rocky movies, I'm rewatching those all the time, right? There's a difference here. Simple as that. All right, next up, I cannot say the same thing about these next two movies where I think they're good. Like those movies I just covered right now, I think are good quality, all of that. People should at least watch once. Next two are definitely cup of teas. They're acquired tastes. Some people may absolutely love them. Some people are going to despise them, like I do. Once again, just not the movies for me. But if you love them, I celebrate that. So first up, I've talked about this one a little bit before. We gotta have Mulholland Drive, and I did give this one a fair chance. I actually watched it twice, but I didn't really want to watch it the second time. I was hoping on a second time I would, get something out of it and it would make sense to me. But after seeing this the second time, I'm like, no, if a movie is not hitting me right and I feel it doesn't really deserve a rewatch for me anyway, personally, then I'm not gonna, suffer through it again. So I don't need to rewatch this one anymore. I'm never gonna rewatch it again. Probably shouldn't be in my collection. Just isn't my cup of tea. I don't get the story here. It's very surreal and dreamlike most of the story. So I can't really connect to what's going on. It feels like a lot of scenes just kind of sewn together. And it doesn't capture my attention and it feels like it goes on forever. And I just can't get into it. And a lot of people really hype this one up. And I get it. There's good filmmaking techniques in here and all that, but I feel like it's more kind of like artistic abstractness than a really, easy to follow story point by point. And that's just not my cup of tea for a movie here. So Mulholland Drive, never going to rewatch it again. And I'm perfectly fine with it. But once again, you love this one. Cool. I celebrate that. I know it has its fans out there. All right. Now, the last one here for the one and dones, and oh my gosh, I did not give this one a second chance, I tell you. Oh, such an overhyped movie. The Seventh Seal. Oh my gosh, this one bored me to tears almost. I mean, there's a couple cool shots in here with like Death playing chess, but that's really about it. The story just, once again, doesn't make a whole lot of sense with me. It's just, it's very boring. It drags on. It is a foreign language film. I'm not really connecting to the characters here. It's just, I don't really have anything to grasp onto. And once again, it's just not my cup of tea. But a lot of people love this one. It's some people's favorite out there. Once again, I celebrate that. That's awesome for you. But it just doesn't work for me. I just feel like I can't do it again. I can't rewatch it again. Okay with the one watch, one and done for me. Just yeah, not really something that's memorable to me, and so I'm kind of over the Seven still. So move it along. Those are five movies I will not really want to rewatch from the Criterion Collection. Unfortunately, like I said, all good quality there. Some more than others that I do quite liked my one watch of. Once again, I just don't feel the urge to go back to them. All right, now five movies that I think are very rewatchable, easily digestible. Most people will like something out of these movies. And so I think these are more crowd pleasers and more people will enjoy them, where the other ones are cup of teas. I think this is, water that hydrates most people out there. Okay, so let's get into this. At the bottom, we're going to have The Fisher King. Yes. Oh, this movie's awesome. You got Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams, and it just does so many cool things. It does have the dramatic elements some people might latch on to, but it also has some fantastical scenes in there, which are really cool. That kind of came out of nowhere. You also maybe got a little bit of dark comedy in there. You also have a lot of romance in there. Once again, that was not expecting that. So a lot of different genres kind of mixed in here that I think everybody will get something out of. That's why it's on this list right here. And I really like this one. And I always get the urge to rewatch this one again because I'm like, oh, you know what? Missing Robin Williams. I got to see another one of his movies again. Boom. Put on The Fisher King, and I always have a good time with this one. It just has a lot of depths and layers, but it's still easily standable. You can still follow the plot, no problem. Doesn't hurt my brain or anything like that. So The Fisher King, I highly recommend this one. It's so good. All right, next up we are going to have Night of the Living Dead. And yes, I do like to go back and rewatch this one, particularly during spooky season. I mean, one of the first zombie movies out there, or at least zombies as we know them today. You just want to see this one with a super short runtime. And I mean, what they were able to do on like a zero budget is outstanding. It's creepy, it's atmospheric. I just like the characters and the relationships in here and how they, interact with each other and the banter they got back and forth. So Night of the Living Dead, it's a good one. as a horror fan, I can go back always, like I said, during the spooky season months. I can always give this one a rewatch. It's not a 3 hour movie where it takes too much of my time. It's quick, boom, to the point, zombies, let's go. And I do really like the ending. It's something that does stick with me. I just love how they put up the different images and it just flows together so nicely. All right, next up, we are going to have 12 Angry Men. Yes, 12 Angry Men is one that always gets recommended for people that are diving into Criterion that really want to start with an easy watching classic movie. And it's very simple. They're in one setting here. It's a jury debate room. You have these 12 men that are debating this jury case, and more information unravels. You see people start changing their opinions. I love the banter back and forth. It's a really good, just dialogue kind of movie. The script's amazing here, and the acting talent's great in here as well. I mean, it's an all-around very entertaining classic movie where I think, hey, you know what? If I'm going to recommend a classic movie to somebody, I go to 12 Angry Men. It's easy watching. And yeah, once again, it's just a good time. It's not overly long. It's simple, easy to follow. I love the ending, and it just packs all the punches all the way through. So 12 Angry Men, I do really enjoy, and we'll rewatch it again. Absolutely. All right, next up, we gotta have another classic here, but comedy this time. Bringing Up Baby, yes, a nice romantic comedy. Yeah, I really like this one here. It's funny. You got, of course, the cougar in here, the real animals that look really cool in this one. But it's easy watching. It's just like kind of a slapstick comedy. I think the humor still keeps up to today. You have a great acting talent in there, of course. But yeah, this is one where I'm like, you know what? I want to see a classic movie, but I don't want to get into a deep dark tale. I just want something funny that I can watch, fall asleep to, and have a good time. Bringing Up Baby, very easily rewatchable type of movie to me. So really like this one. Yeah, and Criterion did a wonderful job with this one. So Bringing Up Baby, highly recommend. All right, next up, our number one title here, and I just think this is a good crowd pleaser, a mainstream title, very easily rewatchable. And we gotta have Thelma and Louise. Yes, I mean, look at that amazing acting talent there on the front. Those actresses are just so good in here. But it is a crime drama road trip movie, a thriller, right? It's like, it is what it is. Simple as that. They're on the run type of thing, and you're following these characters. The chemistry back and forth between the friendship is so good in this one as well. I think everybody could kind of relate to a lot of the characters in here, and just the situations and things that happen, and then talk about an iconic ending that's just very shocking. So Ridley Scott did a really great job on this one. He makes his movies very mainstream to where a lot of the audience will probably get something out of them. It's just beautifully filmed, and Criterion did an outstanding job with the packaging, the special features, and everything in here. And it's actually one I would rewatch a whole bunch of times. And yeah, so very thrilling. And I think it's just a great one to have on your list. If you haven't watched this one, oh my gosh, watch it. And then you'll probably want to watch it again. High recommendation here. But now I got to hear from you guys in the comments below. What are your 5 personal always rewatches? 5 one and dones. I know we all have difference of opinions out there, so it's going to be great to compare lists and just hear everybody's different recommendations. It's all about having friendly film fan conversations down below, of course. And then if you haven't already, go ahead and mega smash that like and subscribe. That way it can keep you entertained and up to date on all future Criterion and Boutique talk, of course. In the description below, if you haven't seen those yet, I've done a whole series on Criterion. And of course, I'll leave one right here. You can mega smash right now. And thank you so much, my mega membership supporters. If you love talking and collecting movies, consider joining the Mega League of Film Fans through memberships to support content creation while gaining access to perks like shoutouts, exclusive videos, and future topic choices.